It's 12:02 p.m. Friday, March 1st, 2019. Want to do a time day stamp on this? This video's been a long time coming. Don't really know where to start it. When I was a child, I would often know, not always, but often, when it mattered. When I was excited about something, I was aware of who was calling on the phone before it rang. Freaked my adopted parents out when I did it. When I told them I wanted to talk to the person on the phone and to who it was, and then they get mad. And when I was right, my father especially got real mad. Finally, at 5 years old, he said if I did it again, he was gonna smack my face. So I'm like, okay. When you're 5 years old, your dad's pretty big. He wasn't an overly abusive man. It just freaked him out. He was a control freak. He was made to be what he is. Maybe one of the most important things there is to realize for yourself is that this God thing never existed. There's never been a God. Never. Now, we say there's one. A lot of people do. Allah, God, Yahweh, blah, blah. What there was the original first being that was created out of happenstance in the first dimension. 5 energy fields came together. They coagulated. The 5th energy field was a form of electromagnetic energy. And that they kept coming together, working together, becoming one. And eventually sentient energy was created. And that's exactly and the only thing that spirit is. Spirit is sentient energy, no more. There's no religion, there's no God, there's energy that is awake and aware, sentient. As you awaken your metaphysical abilities to learn to use more of what you already have, to become more of your full self, as much as possible while you're stuck in that body, in a physical body, having a physical life, a life in the physical dimension, which is the 3rd. When you're not in this body, or in a body, you're in the 2nd dimension, one right above us, and that's where we all live. Everyone lives when you're not in the body. There's no hell, there's no devil. Religions, all that stuff, they were created by the original first being. Then there's the 1st dimension, the original one. And that's where new first beings were being created, just out of happenstance. There was 5 of them. One of them is dead, destroyed. It was becoming something incredibly negative, meaning intense lower frequencies, and a problem. So the whole of what I am outside of the body went over there and killed it. Then there's a 5th one. There's another one. So there were 5. That made 4. Then there's the 5th one, and it's sentient, but it's still coming together. It's very very, very young. It's not finished developing yet. It's loud, huh? For those of you that have been listening to me over the past few years, most of you know I love everything. I'm made of love and fortitude. That's what I'm made of. It's what I am. I have all the other frequencies within me, but next to nothing of most others. Hope, passion. I have minimal amounts of all that stuff because I needed to be what I am. I was made to be what I am. Myself and my female counterpart. The spirit in me has been given the name, gave me the name of Arae. And then my female counterpart, her name is Lily. We're the original ones made. And all this is in book 1 of the Creation series. The Creation series is 3 books that I wrote that are everything I've done. I have the copyrights, and the copyrights are Deanna's copyrights. Now, there's another one. Another book being written. Later on by Deanna. I put most of the information together, and Deanna will write it when she's ready, probably not for 2.5 years. So anyway, this in the very beginning, the original first being was lonely. In the first dimension, all there was energy fields that had come together in a basic area. And then some of them were actually just pounding into each other and holding on, and started to create new first beings. All there was energy over there. The only physical mass there was some heavy particulate mass. That very dense stuff. They say the Big Boom theory for the creation of the universe, it's similar, but it's not quite. It's not quite what they said. Different pieces. Different pieces of heavy particulate matter, different sizes, were transmutated into stars, planets, smaller bodies like moons, huge asteroids and stuff. Creating a dimensional rift within a frequency. And filling it is what a universe is. There was the original first universe. I wasn't even aware of it till a couple of years ago, I believe. A year ago. It was a small one with some small, very small beings in its souls that the original first being, male and female, put in there, and it was an experiment. It didn't go too good, so they isolated it and built the second universe, which is the one we all live in. There's a total of 1,672 new universes, or universes. There was over 3,000, and the rest were compressed back in the heavy particulate matter. Original first being, when it first came out, it was alone. It was all by itself. And it had enough heavy particulate matter pulled into itself to where it eventually wound up having 27.5% lower frequencies or negativity. That's enough to cause some issues, especially when it's source, meaning original type source energy. And so it started getting more sentient, becoming more sentient and more paranoid and freaking out about being lonely. It was going everywhere, couldn't find anything, and it eventually split itself into two slightly different parts. That's the creation of male and female. But it had issues. From being alone, it wanted to make sure it always had more company, but when it split itself into two parts, that didn't fix the loneliness issue. It wanted to, both parts of itself, the male and female part, wanted to have more company than the other. So it started a bad cycle, and then eventually the original first being male and female decided they wanted to create a big family. They wanted to make sure they were never alone, and there was always lots of people for them to be with. And as they gave of themselves to create these things, they considered they owned them. They've never cared about you. Not in the least. Not in the least. This loving God, that was them putting their thoughts into your heads using the original first angels. Original first angels, they made almost right away. First I made one big one who had lower frequencies. About 20.5% lower frequencies in it, not as much as them. And it was huge. They pulled it out of themselves, and they knew that they were going to take a third of their energy, and they were going to remove it from themselves, take 97% of the negativity out, which is the lower frequencies, which are actually the stronger at first until they've been developed, and set it aside like a huge orb. They had to have something that was big enough to surround it, powerful enough to control it. That was the first servant they ever made. That was an angel. Believe it or not, that angel, the name that everyone's been given that actual angel, although it's totally misplaced, is the one they call Lucifer. He was the first protector, your first protector. His job was to keep that stuff in check so it wouldn't mess with anyone while they started having lives. There's some pieces of him that have been cleaned, that are good, that are hanging around, that are stored. And then there's also Archangel Michael, a very close friend of mine. And they're one of the archangels. They're the strongest of the original ones. There's almost none left at all. They had to be taken out too. So anyway, The original first being male and female took a third of that third of their energy, cleaned it up, removed all that negativity, which still wasn't a lot, but it was what 26 something percent, 26 point something percent, 27 whatever, and they made so they had clean source energy. And then they took 4/5 of that and divided it into two different pieces. That was really huge. And one of them was bigger than the other. And the biggest, when they went into that big orb and they split into two parts, they took most all the fortitude and most all the love and the frequencies of love, heart energy, and put it into the bottom section, which was like this. And then the top section was this big, okay, just not physically, just as a basic ratio. And then the smaller ones, they automatically just split into male and female. And then the bottom one did the same thing. It started to vibrate. Once it settled, it was separated and started to settle. It vibrated in male and female. But then when that was done, again, most of the fortitude in that was pushed into the male part. And more of the love was fed into the female part. Then as those on the smaller piece, those two beings were called Lydia and Armelius. Armelius means malleable armor. Then on the bottom, the huge one, the female was called Lilith. And then the male part over there, that was called Aramelius. On different planets, there's different names. A name is something as a descriptive nature that we use in order to discuss, relate to, talk about a certain topic or thing. Then as soon as Aramelius and Lilith's energies calmed down and started to solidify, as energy does this, spirit, sentient energy, the energy within the spirit does this. This happens with you all the same way when you were created. Then the most intense parts of you begin to coagulate, come together into a focal point, almost like a nucleus within that energy field. That's the strongest part of who you are. That's your focused energy. Okay? That's your focal point. The essence of who you are. As soon as that happened, and they settled in, got strong, then Lilith and Aramelius, the original first being female went into Lily, original first being male went into Aramelius, and they pulled out those two focal points. And then they were separated, and then they finally solidified, became themselves. What I am inside, I am Arae. I was the strongest focal point. I was the original focal point of Aramelius. And Lily was the original focal point of Lilith. A lot of the stories, other than the existence of a being, there's very little not even a hundredth of everything that's been said about Lily is about Lilith, who was actually Lily, is even true. I mean, it's all garbage. Just like this God thing. The original first being male and female, after they started creating a whole lot of beings, they wanted people, they wanted the love, the attention. It was more the attention than the love. They didn't care that much for love. They didn't have that much. So then they started wanting praise. Then it got insane, and that's how you got a God. You were told there was one. They made they had already pulled out Lily and Arae, pulled us out of the other two. We were solidifying. They took a large amount of what was left, and they made the very high vibrations, very high vibration, less than 1% lower frequencies. There might have been a couple that were 1.1, but almost everything was well under 1% lower frequencies, and they turned them into servants. Now, at first, energy frequencies, the lower frequencies, they're more like this. Those are stronger. You use those frequencies today to break up ground. Higher frequencies are more vibratory. They have their own strengths, but they don't have the bust-up power that the lower stuff does. That's why the one they called the original first beings, when they had the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran, all that stuff written, they said that Lucifer was the devil. Yeah, no, he was made to protect you from and protect them from that negative stuff. When they first made. I'm moving around a little bit. I'm doing the best I can. All this is in book 1. If you want to know who you really are, what's been going on, buy book 1, Creation. Go to Amazon.com. Go to Essex, Jayessex, The Creation Series. There's book 1, volume 1, Creation, its beginning and your origin. Number 2, Creation, its journey evolving into paradise. And that was the source wars and everything, how everything was so sick and cancerous on the other side. Plus new beings that were created. And plus stuff happening here. Atlantis, Lemuria. Then book 3 over here, he's behind our little buddy here. Whoops. Creation, its history, explosive evolution, and ET arrivals on Earth. This book is huge. I forget it. I don't know how many pages it is. There's all the introductory pages, which is a lot. And the last written page is 472 or something. I don't know. There's such a big introduction and everything else. It's 500 some pages, I think. It's from my buddy Steve. So you can see we got a couple of them hanging around. Anyway, so these angels were made so that they can go through the upper crown, middle crown, lower crown, and then right into the hypothalamus gland of the brain, and literally control you. To tell you you're going to run right into that wall. They just say, run into the wall. You know you have to run into that wall. Your life depends on it. You'll knock anyone over. Crawl in the mud. Doesn't matter. You'll get to that wall and you'll run right into it as hard as you can. I've put most of the stuff. And your chakras, what they call chakras, they call energy focal points. This is how they actually look inside your body. That's how they're positioned, the different colors. Deanna will be making a book on that. All these pictures, everything's copyrighted and stuff like that. Feel free to use it to show friends and talk with it. But anything to do with sales of this material is against copyright and carries penalty. Now what I'm talking about here, this is an energy filter that goes over your crown. The angels would come, the original first angels would put their energy through here, through the upper crown, through the middle crown, which is a lens, through the lower crown, which is a focal point, and then right into the hypothalamus gland of your brain. And then they control you. You're theirs. That's all there is to it. Once they pull their energy out, you'll immediately be yourself again. And there's been lots of times, I mean, when I talked about making you run into the wall, that's happened to people. I've watched it. Watched people walk right up to a wall and bang their head right into it hard as hell, and then they freaked out. Why did I do that? And other people around them wondered how'd that happen. Well, they were made to do it. They were taken over. The other side controls this one. What would happen if you love your dog, you kicked it, if you smacked your child when you love them so much and you'd never do it normally? What would happen if you all of a sudden just turned right into something and ran off the road? And you're like, what the hell happened? You were made to do it. Unless you consciously, intentionally decided you want to go off the road. If it just happened and then you're surprised afterwards, that wasn't you. The more abusive your lives were to you, the more your spirit was being grown while it was stuck in that body. When you have a regular life which is difficult anyway, when the body dies and you come out, you go poof, you grow like this. If you've had a real hard life, when you come out of that body, poof, you grow like this. It might be similar to feeding an animal steroids to make them bigger, or a human body to make them bigger. Comes with consequences. It was not just pushing your spirit too much. It was, in doing so, it was also creating abuse frequencies inside your body. When I started going into people's brains, 2012, 2011, I started pulling out these weird frequencies. Actually 2010, I guess. Anyway, I started pulling out these weird frequencies. The only way I could describe them to a physical conscious mind would be they were part digital, like a square wave, and then analog and broken up, and then part digital, analog, broken up. It wasn't a frequency that went bad. It was a new one that was created inside the other ones. And when I pulled them out, people immediately relaxed. So that's why your lives suck. You have to have enough happiness to keep yourself from committing suicide, but at the same time, you were in a body to be abused as much as to grow you as large as possible, but still keep you inside that body while you were in that body. While you're in that body, to grow you as large as possible, but still keep you inside it. That's not a loving God. All the things that happen, all the things that happen in your life. How could a loving God do that? Some people have run their own dogs over, their kids. Be on the way home, the house burns up, your children are burnt to death. You watch them suffer disease, torture. Where's the love in that? Religious zealots will say, "Oh, you just don't understand the lessons we're learning." And I tell you what, someone hits me in the face, I'm not going to turn my cheek. I'm knocking them on their ass. And the meek will inherit the earth. Nah, they'll be grazing in the field till some lion comes by and eats them. Think. So, the angels, the angels will put on you to control your life, to make sure you had enough abuse. If it's time for you to break your arm, you're breaking your arm. If it's not time for you to die yet, and you just happen to walk out in the road not knowing a car's coming, they might literally move time and space around you so that car does not hit you. Angels have made bodies in physical, like one time a tanker truck, and a body inside it out of nowhere, right in front of my eyes. No, I don't do drugs. Now I'm taking medicine for all my issues, my lungs and everything else. This has been going on for years. People have been with me when angels have just popped in and all of a sudden walk right into a brick wall, and there you go, Jay. Stuff moving around the house, go out to different shops selling stones, and my own energy would crank up in the bottom of my spine, the first 8 vertebrae coming off my pelvic bone. It'd crank up, wham, like that, and then something goes flying off a shelf. Never breaks. So it'd be a shelf with a little edge around it, a shelf like this with an edge around it, and it jumps up over the thing and comes off, and there'd always be somebody there that just got to see what happened, watch some energy do it, and I just turn around and walk out of there almost every time. One time, the first time I didn't, I was being bothered to say something, so I did. Then the guy pissed me off, and so I went ahead and gave about 5 people a reading, what people call a reading. It's metaphysical practitioner. It's what we all are. And it was spot on for everybody, and I just got my coffee and left. I've wanted attention for people. I've wanted my words to be paid attention to, my information to be paid attention to, because it's about you. It's about everything, all of us, who we are, where we came from. Not me. I ought to get plenty of thumbs down on this video. I hope I do. I don't give a damn. I love everyone and everything. I will give everything I have to protect it. But I'm stuck in this damn body for the moment. And it's coming to an end. Finally. My lungs were shot. My heart is, I've been having these heart attacks. It's not enough to knock me out, but it's enough to shut me down where I can't move. And my head goes down, and I just have to sit for a minute while I come back to life. This information in these books, it's never been anywhere. Why? Because I'm the only one that could give it to you. I had to come here while in body, kill the original first being halves, kill most all the original first angels who went crazy, and then keep killing everything on the other side that was a problem. This whole creation was made to be abusive, to grow you, to make you bigger. If you went to, if you go to a country where they're having, where you have a king and queen and stuff like that, and there's a lot of turmoil, if you go wipe out the initial royal court, what happens? If you get rid of the big heavy hitters, what happens next? All the next heavier hitters stand up and want to take control. When you've gotten rid of enough of them, you have a bunch of people running around trying to take control, trying to, be the new god. You have chaos. And as soon as I took out all the big stuff, that's exactly what we had more and more of. More chaos. That's the heart. Monday, I'm going back to my heart specialist, and he's got to give me an okay to take the heart stress test. I'm set up to have scheduled to have some surgery for my prostate and urinary tract, which is necessary for me to stay alive without everything exploding, incredible pain and everything. I've had enough pain. I'm not going to go through that. But I don't expect to ever have the operation. But before I can have the operation, it's mandatory that I get a release from my cardiologist. So there's some parts of me that have animal faces. They've called me when I asked to talk with them and say, go find my image. So I'll go to Google Image, and I'll feel the animal energy behind it. It's part of me. Once it's dragon, there's part of me is unicorn. Dragon and unicorn were literally created when the first Lily and I, the primary Lily and I, first met. As we came closer together, there's an literal explosion. It's like two of them. One time, boom. And then two energy fields came out. One's dragon, one's unicorn. Arae's stronger in dragon. Lily's stronger in unicorn, but both of us have both of it. Both of them. So these different parts of myself came together. There's an old lion. That's actually me, stuck in a body, attached to this body. And things have been getting worse and worse around me. The large parts of Arae and Lydia were the two most problematic. The large parts of them I deleted a long time ago, but it's like taking out a cloud. You go evaporate a cloud, there's little teeny droplets here and there that are hell to find them all. I can't do that when I'm in a body. Some people would say, "Oh, Jay, he can do. If he was what he says he is, he could do this, he could do that." Really, says who? What the hell do any of you, the few of you that say that, what do you idiots know about anything? What proof have you ever offered anyone that you have any ability, that you have any knowledge? Critics are incredible. Critics can do nothing. So they talk about others trying to create their own little outlook on things, and they want people to agree with them and say, "Gee, you're so smart, you sound so intelligent, you must know." That's sheeple. I've never listened to critics for movies and stuff. I watch what I want to watch. I'm seldom disappointed. All those things, rotten apples, whatever, 2%, 8%. They might like it, they might not, whatever. They don't have my desire, what I want to see in a movie. It has nothing to do with them anyway. But if you can't do, you criticize. If you're incapable of producing something for yourself, you bitch and complain about others. And throw in a good word every once in a while to make yourself seem like you're intelligent and nice. You speak a piece about something and you let it go. Until I started doing it, late 2011, 2012, publicly, in public, larger public view, 2013, I started cranking people up. No one had ever gone into anyone else with their energy and increased the other person's energy, awakened their abilities. Something that stayed, gave them more fortitude. People's heads, oftentimes, especially when they're younger, they start growing in size. They find they have more stamina. Their diet changes. Cranking them up hard, people were finding that after about 4 months, they looked about 10 years younger. Given they were about 30 years older or older. So who else has done that? There's other people cranking people up now. Who cranked them up? Me, no one else. I came here to do everything I've done in this life because I was the only one who could, because it was my job. I don't care to hear a thank you or nothing. It's my job. I mean, I don't know what to do with thank yous. I mean, I tell other people thanks, or whatever. Thanks for saying that. I can't hardly say you're welcome. It's my job. If your job's a janitor, which I've called myself many times, you clean the floor. You don't want people to come up to you, "Oh wow, thank you, the floor's so clean." You want them to enjoy walking on a clean floor. I want you to absorb, to look at and absorb this information and utilize the tools I've left you to become yourself so that you can appreciate who you are. Open up your power. All your different power bands. The pineal, solar plexus, heart. Those are your three main power plays. The scanner's up here too, so I really have to include that also. I've written all about that in book 3. I've broken down so much stuff. If you go to thespiritualfoundation.com, that's Deanna's business, Deanna's website. You'll see all the different spheres, the books, rune cards, how to talk with your spirit guides. That's important. The word psychic, I'll say this right now, that's a bogus word. The word psychic is bogus. You want to enhance yourself? You want to make your life easier? Dump that word. Erase it from your vocabulary. There's no such thing as a psychic. Everyone has metaphysical abilities. Everyone that uses those abilities should be called a metaphysical practitioner. That's legitimately who you are. You're practicing your metaphysical abilities. Things have gotten so bad on the other side now. Everything's gone crazy. They've been trying. There's stuff over there, bits and pieces of Lydia and Aramalius. I can't, like I said, I can't see them all because I'm stuck in this body. I got to come out. You are not even a percent. You're not even 0.1% of who you are while you're stuck in a body. You're so intelligent, very strong, very powerful. Able to do incredible things. Fly from one end to the, literally fly, just move yourself as spirit, sentient energy to the end of the universe and back. Less than 9 seconds. Fast, huh? Well, I was made in the very beginning on purpose. All that dense spirit from Aramalius. I was made to serve. I was made to protect. The original first being male and female. They knew something else was going to come out of that first dimension again sometime. And they were concerned to be bigger and stronger than them. Plus, they were releasing parts of themselves, making themselves smaller, so that they'd have company. So when they made me, they made me strong as hell. I was extremely powerful, focused energy. Spirit, sentient energy. I had fortitude, but I have love. Lily's very strong, has incredible fortitude, but she's got more love frequencies than I do. That's how she was made. Doesn't mean I'm not loving, I am. I've had so many lives where I've just ended that life in the process of protecting others, especially animals. That snap will go away after a while. Anyway, so everything has been abused. There's stuff trying to keep me in a body. My own parts of me didn't know when to pull me out. All this fighting I've gone through constantly since 2009. It's been a war. My energy's mutated and grown. It's evolved 5 different times into something totally different. So some of the energy, spirit on the other side was nervous, like don't let him out yet. Not till he calms down, but the longer I've been here, after finishing everything I had to do, the more aggressive I've gotten. So, and I finally said, that's enough of this crap. So I started going inside me and pulling out some of what I have that's inside there hidden, pulling it out and literally destroying it. It was afraid of myself coming out. It wasn't doing anything to help. As soon as I did that, then everything else that was outside, that was a part of me sticking out of the body. Then they decided, okay, we got to do something. We can't maintain, this can't happen, because this is my last life, and I have to be strong enough to literally take on and defeat everything that exists everywhere in order to control creation for forever. I'm already past that stage, but there's only so much of me that stuff on the other side can see, even parts of myself. Here's another picture. That's the Anna's logo. That's a tiger with a lion's mane around it. The tiger represents her, and the lion myself. Here's that frequency field with all of you. This is the third dimension. Here's the second dimension. Part of you comes out the third, and then the larger part of you is floating around the second dimension. That part of you coming out through this filter is like asleep. That's why when you're in the body and you're being freaked out and everything else, it doesn't go into the rest of you to cause problems. This filter right here, frequency filter, stops it. With me, I don't have as much of this area up here. Why? Because inside my head, well, without taking the time to try to show you. Back with the here's there's the hypothalamus, then the lower crown, middle crown, upper crown. In the very back part of my head section, there's like a huge semi-oval ring, almost round ring of energy with a field in it. It's nothing can go through that field. It's my own energy, and what I am goes inside that, and it goes into another dimension. When I first started, getting rid of stuff, when I was doing videos and stuff, I'd be attacked. I'd grab something, put it in like a container, and then or like a round sphere. Then I'd make it a container. I'd freeze it, and I'd take it, and I'd literally push it into my head, and I'd put it through that filter, and of course it'd be knocked out. Nothing can live going through that filter unless I put it in a capsule. And I had all kinds of stuff frozen in my head. Sometimes there'd be so much that I had to build a second layer inside there. That sounds crazy to most people. Why would I ever do that on video? I don't care what people say about me. I care about doing my job. And I'm done here. It's time to go. I have to leave now. Period. People think I'm crazy. Help yourself. There's 2 boards of psychiatrists that I put myself in their hands at the end of 2015. I was in a hospital, and then after that a rehab center. I put myself there intentionally. I knew that I wouldn't be leaving. I wanted to leave the body. I was hoping that'd be nice, but I knew I wouldn't be able to. But I was in their hands. They could have literally locked me up. They could have said, this guy's got problems. I never physically hurt my body. I over-medicated on purpose, but it was a huge amount. Enough to take down 3 bull elephants. And so that being said, uh, uh, when I went through there and I signed the paperwork, it's like, let's go, let's do this. They had me under lock and key, watched everything I did. They didn't know what to make of me. I was talking with them about the work I do, the energy work. I was talking with them about going into people's brains and how I affected them. Here, I'll show you another picture of this in just a minute. This is a quantitative electroencephalogram. This is the chart where a quantitative electroencephalogram was on a gentleman, Martin Perra, out in Sweden. I was here in Duluth. This is what his brain looked like when it was in a test hooked up to this machine without me touching him. And then over here, the same one on this side is what it was like, what happened when I went into him on the next test. Let me show you a better picture of that. If you look on the left-hand side, on the upper left, delta absolute power, you see green with a little bit of blue. And then if you look, that's Martin sent this to me from Sweden. It says me alone, which was Martin alone. And then you look at the same mapping on the right-hand side, from the right chart on the right-hand side. It said Martin, me with J, arrow, that's me in his head. You see the difference in there. Well, if you look at the scale, you see with the power level where it goes into red, it's stronger. Okay, now on the left-hand side, the chart on the left, if you go on the left-hand side, if you go down 3, where it says amplitude symmetry, those are the different connection points of the wires that were coming off of his brain. Amplitude symmetry. Now, if you go to the same place on the chart on the right, look at the difference between the two. That's me just going into his hypothalamus gland of his brain. Now, there's also this other blue chart. That's something different. It's FFT absolute power. If you look at the upper left, look at the upper left, it says delta, and then underneath it you see a scale. And you see that the blue is the more quieter, the lower end of the scale. And then the right-hand side, where it's more orange, is the stronger. And if you notice, the scale goes from 4 on the lower end to 17 on the higher end. Well, if you go to the corresponding frame on the right-hand side where it says delta, 1.0 to 1.4 hertz, you notice it's a whole lot more blue. Well, gee, what does that mean? That I was weaker when I went, that's me going in his head. If you look at the scale underneath it, it goes, instead of from 4 to 17 like on the other chart, it goes from 0 to 1300. And if you notice, it's the front of the brain that's receiving all that power, because I went into the hypothalamus and was pushing all the energy into the front of his head. So that's physical proof that I can make a difference in someone's brain. It doesn't prove everything else I was doing. All I can do, all anyone can do, is the best we can. So anyway, before I left, when at the rehab center, the shortest amount of time they have to keep you at least 5 days. And I was lucky enough to be there through New Year's Eve. And at New Year's Eve, the doctors take a 3-day holiday. So, and it has to be an actual psychiatrist to sign off. So I had to stay there three extra days. But I had a good time when I was in there. I was helping people feel their energy, building their own spheres, fingertips, feeling it, and cranking some people up. And this is in a rehab center where people go when they worry about where people are put when people are worried about someone being nuts and having serious issues. Anyway, as soon as the doctors came back, they immediately told me I was being released the next day. But they were letting me when I got out of the room early in the morning, instead of having to hang around the room with a roommate in there, because they locked the doors at night. I did this to prove a point. I would go out into this nice room. They let me go out into this nice room and meditate. And while I was meditating, I was actually killing stuff on the other side that still needed to go. There was a part of the body of some spirit that originally came from Aramelius that actually eventually came off of me. That was a problem. It was trying to be controlling. Everything wanted to play God. As soon as the original first being male and female, the ones who created this God concept to be them, as soon as they were gone, then the next ones just all stepped up, and it didn't stop. Still problems. But the second I'm out of this body, I'm home, it's done. So anyway, they released me. No medicine. I mean, I have to take my, lung medication and stuff, but no psycho stuff, drugs, Didn't need to see me again. They said one thing, that after you're out 9 days, we want you to go to this other place and talk to this other, group of another board of psychiatrists, a unit thing. So I did. So Deanna took me down there, and I went and talked with the lady. The triage psychiatrist, I was talking with her, and she was solar plexus oriented, had really nice yellow energy in her with beautiful light green, light to medium green color, kind of like this, which are the frequencies of spiritual healing, and a little bit of physical healing mixed in with it. And we sat down, and she looked at me, and her eyes were like this. She didn't know what to make of me. I just smiled. I said, she had animals all over the place, and I said, I think it's great how you love animals so much. I know this is for some of the younger clientele you have coming in, but you really love animals. And she said, yes, I do. People don't understand. I said, what, that they have spirit inside? And she goes, yeah. And she looked at me, and I told her, I said, look, I'm going to be forthright about everything. You have everything, all the information in front of you. I see energy, I see spirit, I talk with it. I'm something different. I'm here for a reason. I'm here with you for a reason. And she just looked at me and she said, I can feel your energy. She said, I don't know what's going on. She said, I can feel your energy. She's a psychiatrist. So this isn't a layman's, social worker. This is a psychiatrist. So she was like, whatever. So we talked, and she said, well, if you ever want to talk, come on back by, but, we don't need to see you. No one ever put me on drugs. No one ever said anything. The only problem the initial place had with me is because they didn't know what to make of me. When I brought the quantitative electroencephalogram results in to show the doctors and stuff when I was in there, Deanna brought it in to me. When I showed that to them, they were they didn't just look at one page, because it has all the data sheets and everything. That information is on the front page of the spiritualfoundation.com. we had our little get together where I talked with a few of them, and they said, Jay, there's only one thing we're concerned about with you. And I said, he said, what you're doing and helping people and everyone else and what you've started and created, and it's worldwide now. They had all my information, bank account, everything. There wasn't anything they didn't know about me. They said, it's incredible, but there's just one thing we'd really like you to do. And I said, what's that? And they said, spend some of this money on yourself instead of spending it on everyone else. I just looked at him and smiled. And then he kind of looked at me like a little concerned. I said, you don't get it. That's what makes me happy. That's my happiness. And he was like, he had the worried look like, oh, geez, it's going to be a problem again. No, there's not. I had to do that to prove I wasn't crazy. And then I've left you other proof. I've gone into people's brains, cranked them up real hard. Their DNA is changing. As soon as I'm home, on the other side, where nobody can screw with the results, then the final part of the testing will be done on a few people. And then there's the proof that I actually have been changing people's DNA. I know I have. I see it, feel it. These people know. Their abilities, they go through the roof. Our ET friends that I talk about, they're all over the place. They're in all these people are cranked up. They're in and out of people's homes, watching them, talking with them. This has been going on for a couple of years, but a few years. But the DNA ICU, I guess that's been 2 years or something. I don't know. But everyone else I cranked up because I couldn't get because nothing was taking me out of this body yet. Then I had to make everyone else stronger because they were getting attacked. So I can't just destroy this body. I have to leave in a more natural way. And this heart stress test I'm about to go through, that's my way. That's my way out of here. If not, then there'll be something right after that. This old lion part of me. I might have already mentioned, he came to me a few days ago and he said, the rest of us, other parts of you that we talk with, come together. We're coming together and we're taking care of this. Someone very special to me in mine and Deanna's family. She's had to have eye surgery, and that's a horrific thing for her. Now, creation is not about one person, it's about everyone. But she's very special, very important to what's going to happen. All she's ever wanted is to see these children that have been produced from the taking of Deanna's and mine's, DNA, reproductive material. It's 58 now, already grown, and it's there's going to be well over 60. The other embryos are just growing. When that happens, they grow real fast to about 4 or 5. Then they still keep growing fast till about 16, slow down a little bit, 18, and then they start growing more normal. So she had to have some eye surgery, and I was asked, what do you see? And I said, I can tell you it's going to be okay in the end, but I'm not, right now what I see is that it should go okay. Well, the problem saying anything like that, unless you're in charge of what's going to happen in the future, unless you have that power, you cannot predict the future. Why? Because you're not in charge of it. And if you're in a body and you can't control it, if you are strong enough, when you're out of a body, when you're in a body, you're not. Sure enough, she got messed with. It was okay at first, and then she got hammered. So now she's in worse shape. I could just sit here and just flow a river of tears. I'm pissed. I'll fix that. I'm going to fix it. Even spirit that was created with high amounts of negativity, they have rights. They have the right. Everything's equal. All spirit is equal. As soon as any spirit, I don't care what it is, harms another spirit, whether it's in a body or not, harms the body, that's wrong. There's new laws against that. And the second I'm out of this body, that's the new law. As soon as I get out of this body, I'm going to finish killing everything I can find that's doing that immediately. Immediately. As soon as new stuff comes out of the body, if they're a problem, I'll deal with it. If they're a real problem, they're just going to be deleted. A lot of these things that are running around inside bodies, bodies are going to be destroyed. And then the spirit deleted, just bam, drop dead, heart attack, boom, bam. How do you get cancer out of the body? You cut it out. Listen to that J guy, man. He's crazy. He's insane. He thinks he's God. No, there is no God. You've never had this information before, because the only person that was strong enough to make this happen was me. You've got your information. I've cranked up enough people here. I'll be cranking up other people when I'm out of body as myself. They have to be source. Then I have to make them stronger. And then they can crank you up. Human race is evolving. There's no thanks. There's no nothing. It's time for all of you to have what you should have had in the very beginning, the very first life. Very first life ever had, that was Lily and I. Primary Lily and I. And it was abusive, aggressive, and nasty as hell. Second life, when we went to make a body, I told Lily to follow my lead. I made the drug body. I created the drug race, and so did she. She followed suit with what I did. That's why the Troc were the original first race, and they're the most powerful physical beings ever created. They're the ones that have freed this planet, by the way, them, the Nantids, and some others. So, finally, things have gotten to the point where those other parts of me are saying that's enough, it's time to leave. So Monday I'm going to go see if I can get the stress test. I expect it to be a yes. And I damn well better leave during it. If not, then you won't hear from me again anyway till I go. You'll hear from me on the other side. If it doesn't kill me, it'll tear up my heart so much with the way it is right now that I could even just try to exercise finally and blow up my heart, I guess. Suicide? No. There's no mutilation, no physical destruction. DNR, do not resuscitate. It's from the last time I went to the hospital, February 3rd to February 8th again. Anyway, I've said what I wanted to say. I've done what I wanted to do. I've killed so much more. Had to deal with so much more than I ever should have had to deal with. You're not, when you look in the mirror, you're not what you see in a picture. You're what you feel and see down inside your eyes. So much more than what you are. Me, I was made outside of everything else to take care of it. Finally, I'm going to do my job. We go into bodies to have a life so that we can grow, so we can evolve who we are as spirit. It never should have been physical bodies. 2,000 years from now, no more physical bodies. The next lives you have, you're going to be in other universes where there's energy beings. Everyone's energy beings. It's like the Fey beings that are here. The creation books 1, 2, and 3, all 3 volumes, they tell you everything that you've never known. I address so much, especially in book 3, about the truth, reality, the science of how the body works. What makes your body run? The brain. Really, what keeps the brain going? Well, there's the heart. What keeps the heart going? I tell doctors this, neuroscientists, neurologists. I said the spirit. Some babies are born without spirit inside them. They're born dead. I explain all that, how it works, how you flow through your body. Book 3, it's all on. You can see them on thespiritualfoundation.com, but they're all on Amazon.com. That's the truth. You won't find it anywhere else unless someone else is repeating what I said, which is wonderful. If you listen, if you can awaken and listen to what I tell you and see it for yourself, then that's now your truth too. That's what I'm after. People can say what they want about me. I don't give a damn. Doesn't mean shit. I'm an enigma. I'm something that's just outside of everything. I'm no better than a stick in the mud. It's true that none of us are any better than anyone else, but it's also true that no one is better than any of us. There's no one any better than you. If they think they are, they're showing their arrogance. We can do little things better than each other, but the actual self-worth, no. So it's no longer about a God, supreme being, no such thing. There's family. In the books, I talked about 2018. I was supposed to be out of here. Originally it was September 17th, 18th, around there of 2018. And then the war with the fighting and killing everything, it changed to October 28th, 2015. And then that didn't happen. And then it changed to like 3 more times. It kept moving, and I just gave up on it. I had stuff trying to say, we're going to get you out of here. And no, it just, nobody was able to get me out. And everything on the other side is, most everything over there is afraid of me. The only thing that was strong enough to get me out is here now. It's different parts of myself. Like you're like the center of an onion, the focal point, and then there's layers coming out. Well, I'm the biggest thing there is and the strongest thing there is. So I have a lot of very strong layers. So I don't give a damn what people say about me. I don't care what people think about me. I care about what you think about yourself. Find yourself. Appreciate yourself. If someone tries to throw their crap on you, their dominion shit, tell them that they're number one with you. Feed them the bird. No one is any better than you. But remember, we're in the same place. Finally, also December 18th, 17th, 18th, 19th of 2018 is when there was supposed to be a massive sighting of our ET friends. I talk with them, they talk with me. They know who I am. They know what I am. This council of, it was the new Alliance of Planets, then it became the Alliance of Life now. Myself, the Drak, and the Antids. That's who put it together. So, I'm not trying to make any of this about myself, but this is what I've done. This is why you've never heard this information before. This is why the more you read it, the more you start to flow into it, the more all of a sudden things make sense. It's about you. It's for you. My last life was Gandhi. For all it's good, for all it's bad. It was horrific. I was continuously run. I had these huge archangels, hanging on my head, original first being male and female in my head, controlling certain things I did. That to me are disgusting now. Hey, that's called being in a body. And I was so close to just freeing India. And then at the very end, boom. It turned into a nightmare. That's the blessings of your God, of your Yewa, of your Allah. There's no such thing. There was the original first being, male and female, and it's dead. So, I have had 220. This is exactly my 220,000th life on this planet. It's my last. Most people, if they've had a lot of lives here, it's 56, 63, something. Lily has had 8.9 trillion lives. I've had 10.846 trillion plus lives. 10.846 trillion. It's a lot. The more knowledge, data, relative to numerology number 8 that you absorb, you pull it in, and then it goes into the heart and the hypothalamus. Your heart develops feelings. Okay, not emotions. Emotion is like fear, anger. Those are the only emotions. The rest is actually feelings. And then the data mixes in, and then the heart energy goes up into the hypothalamus, and then back down again. But up here, it works with the lower crown, receiving the data straight in. And you turn data, number 8, knowledge, you turn that into wisdom, number 2, understanding. You turn it into understanding, I should say. And the greater your collection of understandings, the greater your collective wisdom. So, I've been around longer. I was made the strongest in the beginning. All those lives, thing I was made to be. That's what it took. So, I don't expect to ever make another video to see you on video again, or you see me on video, I should say. My only thought now is going home. I just can't commit suicide. I have to go naturally. But apparently it's time, so we'll see. One way or the other. The assholes and idiots on the other side have gone too far. So they have no discussion, no chance for anything. It's immediate deletion. They'll feel the suffering first. That's how you change creation. That's how it's going to change. Get rid of all the abuse and eventually get, within 2,000 years, get rid of these physical bodies, all but about 10%. So, I had to get this strong before this could happen. Oh, when I died as Gandhi, I got shot 4 times. Been saying that for forever. 2009. They finally disclosed a while ago, year or two ago or something, that Gandhi was killed with 4 bullets, not 3. The part of me that was Gandhi was real pissed about that. Because I'm source, I bond with everything that's inside me. I was Bakal. I was Pahana. I was George Washington. I was Joan of Arc. I was the craziest samurai woman there ever was. Forgot her name. Hitomi, something or other. From the First War. First Samurai War. Not Hitomi. That's a friend of mine. What the heck was her name? Anyway. Pachukuri Inki Yopanki. The Mermaid King. That was in Lemuria. That was Neptune. And Poseidon was in Atlantis. As regular human, 4 legs. 2 legs, 2 arms, 4 limbs. Poseidon actually means earth shaker. Anyway, I've had important jobs while here, but the most important one was this one. So I know who I am. I don't care what other people say. The more you become yourself, you're going to feel the same way. The more your friends see that in you, eventually it's going to help the ones worth talking to wake up for themselves. But they might be slow at first. If you go to look to see something and you're having a problem focusing on it, that's normal. You just keep working at it. Someone ever says you made a mistake, and you just look at them and start laughing. The greatest race car driver ever has wrecked more than anyone else. The greatest mathematician has probably bought the most erasers. The best artist has torn up more of his work than anyone else. We learn through moving forward. It's a learning process. It's not a being wrong process. People like that usually turn out to be critics. Anyway, I've done everything I need to do, and that's what I want to leave you with. ETs are coming. It's all going to happen. The time for them coming has been put off. 2019 ought to be real exciting. 2020 is going to be a whole new world. I have to leave here first. Book number 3, if you read the beginning of it, Come here, buddy. Let's put you over here. There's the title page. Oh, I don't have a proof. It's not in this proof. Anyway, I'll put some wording in there where I state excuse me, where I state that the timeline of the book is relative to my leaving on time, which at the latest was supposed to be early 2018. So you'll see it. You can see it probably if you go to Amazon.com. I put it in darker print to make it stick out. Things we don't have control of, we don't have control of. Life is simple. It's about to get a lot better. But you have the information, learning how to talk with your spirit guides. That's what the rune cards are about. The rune cards in a rune book somewhere around here. Maybe over there, I don't know. That gets you started. Those runes you won't find anywhere else. The Elder Fruth Arc is in there, but then all the other runes are runes that I've used, that I've spread to other planets, some of them here. The spheres that Deanna and I have been building, now it's just Deanna building them. I put my energy into it. She cranks it up, holds onto it, and I power it up. She does too. She puts her own energy in it. Balanced male and female source energy. And as strong as you're going to find anywhere. These things, if you put them, the max spheres, if you put one of these, wherever you put these in a house or an office, anywhere, in a 25-foot radius, they're going to reach out and go into people, into their brains, the body, and they're going to be making you stronger. Neatest thing about that is you do it while you're sleeping. So you could put it, if you have a house where you have 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms together at the end of one house, you could put it on a table outside of one of the rooms and literally crank up everyone while they're sleeping. There's information about them on the website, thespiritualfoundation.com, on the website store. Deanna has necklaces too. On these necklaces, she's source, very strong source, but she's also got more planetary essence inside of her than I do. I mean, I'm male, okay, I have more star energy. Planetary, the bodies come from the planet. That's why female source is usually better at healing. The stone comes from the planet. I enjoy cranking the heck out of stone, but she's also very in tune with it. When she makes these necklaces, it takes a long time to make them. She picks out each individual stone and puts it next to the right stone, building the necklace. She looks at it, gets the stone, and then she picks out exactly every stone is where it needs to be. They have the right frequencies, and it goes all the way around your core energy. They're not for sale now, and after I'm gone, Dana's going to shut down the store totally, for temporarily, but completely for a while. Just everything. She's going to get away for about 3 months. And then it'll be back open with a vengeance. Or as she's ready to do it. Right now we're just selling. She's just selling spheres. So you have the books for the information. For the 3 creation series books. You have the rune book and cards to help you develop, to talk to your spirit guides, to learn how to talk to your spirit guides, to learn how to, which is what you use to learn to talk to other beings, which it expands into your telepathy, into talking with ETs, other people that are gone home to where we normally live. Second dimension as our true selves, spirit, sentient energy, not stuck in a body anymore. The stuff at the spiritual foundation, the stone, is the best I could find, best she and I could find, literally in the world. And then we crank it up. Everything we have here is cranked up. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of stones, all cranked up. The crystal dragon egg star Essenite is incredibly powerful. She has more of this danbarite than just about anyone. I mean, there's a few stores in the country that have it, but we're not a big store. But we have many, 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 many pounds of danbarite. This is some of the crystal dragon egg star Essenite. Now, I've taught you before that you can take stone, you can look at a video with stone in it. Here's some celestite, very strong for the hypothalamus. And you just relax, go look at the stone. Just float at the stone, just relax, pause the video and just go to the stone, pause the video and just feel it. And then when you unpause it and you come back and look at it, you went through time, because you're not here with me. You went through, area, space, because you're not here with me again. Neither time nor specific area. I'm telling you, you're amazing beings. You're going to find out more. I've given you everything you need for that. I left you close to 630 videos. Over 625 videos that are still up and running. I gotta go home. I gotta fix stuff. I'm late. I had to wait until I had help. Now let's see the help do what it's supposed to do. So if I have to, I'll just keep attacking myself inside until I finally get pulled out of the body. I don't care anymore. I really don't. I gotta go. And I'm not going to leave a bad message by hurting this physical body, doing physical damage to it. Folks, love you. Take care. Use this information if you want to know about yourself. Use this information if you want to know why life is the way it is. Use this information if you want to be able to make better decisions in your life. Use this information if you want to know what the hell's been going on. Where the hell do you come from? Where's this God thing anyway? All this stupid stuff. It's a slow read. Go slow. Take care, folks. Have a good one.